Welcome back, everybody, to IGN Live at the YouTube gaming stage here at PAX Prime. I'm here with Seth Killian. He's going to give us a good look at his game, Rising Thunder. Seth, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Tell us about this game. This game is playable now in a technical alpha.
It is.
And you have a long history in fighting games at Capcom.
To put it lightly, yes.
So now you've made your own fighting game.
I did.
Tell us about it. This is the twist here is that it's a mech-based fighting game.
It is. It's based on a lot of mech traditions from the past. Here we have one of our Chinese mechs, Edge, and they're piloted by pilots. We'll be adding some art for that soon. You can also see on the loadout screen, one of the things we've done with the game is allow you to customize all of your special moves. So every character, I guess let me start at the top. So one of the things we wanted to do with Rising Thunder is basically open the door to the magic of fighting games, because fighting games, to me, are like this amazing, amazing thing that's like kind of changed my entire life. But to actually see what's really rad about fighting games, you have to put in a ton of effort, right? You got to practice all the moves just to be able to do them. So what I wanted to do with this game is really just let people get into the interesting part of fighting games. Like when you watch a great match in fighting games, you don't say like, wow, that guy really executed all of his moves well. You say he made like a great read on the other guy. He had like a great insight.
Okay.
So what we've done is we put all the special moves in the game basically on one button. So it's either you can execute any move in the game with a button, or a button plus a direction, or maybe a hold of the button, but no complicated, 720 motions, no Dragon Punch kind of motions.
We should specify this is a PC game.
It is. That's another brand new thing for fighting games.
Yeah.
A fighting game that's starting directly on the PC.
So played with a keyboard.
You can play it with a keyboard. It works great with sticks. It works great with traditional pads as well. But we started playing on the keyboard, and yeah, we love it. Seems like if you're making a fighting game for PC, it should play well with the base controller on a PC. So no mouse required, but the keyboard is super precise. And while I think most fighting games on keyboard would be maybe not so fun, because you don't have to do any crazy motions to do the specials, it actually works great. And the guys we have playing off stage here are both playing on keyboard.
Okay. So tell us about the two fighters that we're seeing here.
Right, so we've got Edge from China, and he's sort of a fast rushdown. So what you're seeing there from Crow, the guy you cannot see, he's invisible. That's another thing we've done with this game. Because both players have their own screens, although we're only seeing one screen here, on the Crow player's screen, when he does the invisible bubble, he can totally still see himself. So we're able to sort of display both players a little bit different information. And I always talk about fighting games as being sort of like a mix between poker and speed chess. And what I love about poker, or at least watching poker on TV, is seeing the guys sort of hole cards. And like, he's got whatever he's got. He's got maybe a pair of aces, and the other guy's bluffing into him or something like that. So we can have a little bit of secret information that your opponent might not know in terms of whether you're invisible or not. We've also got whether your special moves might be available. So a little bit of hidden information, as well as all the traditional kind of fighting game action you see on screen.
Victory for Edge there.
It was a victory for Edge. So now what we're going to head to is the results screen, which is in between games. So when I play somebody online in a game, usually, historically, we've played like a one game, and then you'll go off and play another opponent. In Rising Thunder, what we wanted to do is have all the ranked matches at least be best 2 out of 3 games. So if I play you, we'll play 3-game set, and whoever wins that is declared the winner. But in between the games, what we can do is, although you cannot change characters, you can actually change the loadout for your character.
Interesting.
So you can try and customize your specials in between rounds, either to surprise your opponent, or if you're having a particularly hard time with a given match or something like that, you can try and pick moves that sort of give you improved odds. Like if you're being kept outside, you can pick a teleport that'll advance you further inside.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what are some examples of the specials that you can use?
Yeah, it's exactly. So right now we see Crow, he's doing sort of a spin kick special. We'll see if he does it here again. It's kind of unsafe, so he's probably too smart to do it. Edge is also playing, he's got a 2-hit sort of fireball variant. That's his uppercut, which can be charged up by the special one. But he tried it right there. But his special one that he's chosen here basically allows him to charge up Super and Kinetic Meter to help him power up if you're trying to keep him out. So he's playing around with that and just showing off some of the new variants. But as a simple example, like, we've got a big grappler character, and if he's being, grapplers always want to get in to grab you. And if he's being kept outside by his opponent, he can switch to a move called like the Spartan Rush, which is sort of a quick shoulder charge. And so if a fireball is coming at you from across the screen, you can just hop into the air and do a Spartan Rush over it and land and be back in closer position. So it can help you out a little bit with the different kind of matchup problems you might run into.
Can you tell us about the Overdrive Meters?
Sure.
How you fill them up, what they do?
Yeah, it's pretty, we'll start with the Overdrive first. That's pretty simple. It's basically a standard super meter kind of thing. So it builds up over the course of the match as you're hitting the opponent. It builds up a tiny bit as you get hit as well, but primarily it's by hitting the opponent. And when you do that, you can be fully powered up and be able to land a super move. Those are going to be customizable as well. The other move is called the Kinetic Meter, and you have a choice between two. You can either use Kinetic Deflect or Kinetic Advance. Kinetic Advance lets you sort of extend combos and cancel moves into each other and jump around and sort of move quicker. Stay with me, stay with me.
I'm right here.
No, I know, it's a lot of information in a short period. And so you can extend combos and do sort of crazy setups using the Kinetic Advance meter. Kinetic Deflect is more of a defensive kind of meter, and you can think of it as basically kind of like a combo breaker. So if you're getting hit, you can use Kinetic Deflect to sort of break out of a combo. There are a couple other applications for it to sort of use it in a defensive. You can push the opponent away in a kind of a push block. So that spin move that the Crow player there is doing, that's one of his variants, and that higher damage, it'll bounce the opponent off the wall, but it's also harder to land and not very safe. If you do it and it's blocked, you can face a big punish for it. So he's trying to mix it up, and you can switch between that move, which is higher reward but higher risk, or go to a sort of a safer variant that's, not as much damage, but something you can throw out a little more freely without worrying about being punished on the backside.
And what about the bottom right? It's
the
like
bottom right. So those are your specials.
Okay.
So the other thing we've done for this, how to make the game work with one-button specials, because it could create a lot of problems. Like if you did something like this for a straight traditional Street Fighter, it would create a lot of problems. So what we've done is put all the special moves on various kinds of cooldowns. There's Edge's super move right there. Let's see if he gets the follow-up hit. Yeah, he's managed to tag him one more time at the backside. So all the specials have a little timer on them, and after you execute it, you have to wait until it refreshes in order to be able to do it again. So there's some ways you can cause those to cool down faster, either by attacking or by using Kinetic Advance to sort of cool them down quicker. But it basically gives you little kinds of mini strategies that emerge. So if you've got a character who's got a nice uppercut, like Edge has a good uppercut, if you can trick him into using the uppercut and then dodge it, you know that he now doesn't have an uppercut for the next couple of seconds.
Sure, that's good.
So you're able to attack and jump in or go for a throw without the same kind of risk that you would have had 2 seconds ago. So you've got a very small window. You've got just that sort of momentary chance to try and get in there and get your damage. But it creates a lot of interesting new situations.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, hopefully we could see some new characters here.
Yeah, I think they're going to switch it up here. And so they're going to he's going to pick his loadout before the match and trying to figure out what he's going to go into the match with. And again, you can change that after the first game. But yeah, it looks like he's going with Dauntless. It's a sort of a male-looking robot, but a female pilot. So you hear her voiceover.
Is there any, does that come into play mechanically, that there's actually pilots inside the mechs?
That's something we're looking at right now. So what we've got right now is a very early alpha. So just as a little background about the studio and Radiant as a company, we're a really small indie company. So this game was made by about 8 people in a year. So it's on Unreal 4. But we decided to release it really early because we wanted to sort of validate the gameplay and also to test online. Online is a huge component for us. And I'll tell you more about that in a second. But
you only play online, right?
Yes, it's an all-online game. So the game is entirely free, but it's all online. And so online, of course, is critical. And fighting games online have been a little shaky.
Yep.
Historically.
Street Fighter V just had some shakiness with its beta.
They've been working through some issues there, but there's a kind of networking that's been notably great for fighting games. It's called Rollback style networking. It was invented by a guy named Tony Cannon, who made GDPO, which is a kind of middleware that became so popular with players. He just invented it on his own as a fan, and it became so popular with players that it ended up getting licensed by Namco and Capcom and Skullgirls and lots of great games. And basically, it sort of revolutionized online for fighting games, but nobody's ever really done it in a fully 3D rendered game like this before.
Yeah.
And so Tony is actually one of the founders of Radiant Entertainment, and so put together a whole new GGPO3 online package for this game. and the results from the players have been really amazing. So we wanted to make sure that when you're playing a fighting game, it feels just like you're playing with your friends on your couch.
That's what I wanted to ask. Do you think you'll ever miss the feeling of playing Street Fighter in an arcade cabinet where you're standing right next to each other?
We'll figure out like ways to think about how to play locally or with online.
Yeah.
But we did build the game around having 2 separate screens. So things like characters who are invisible on their screen or invisible on the opponent's screen but visible to themselves. Stuff like that, hiding your opponent's cooldowns from you. That's going to be hard to pull off on one screen, but we will be able to at least play together in the same house. You know, if you're on your laptop on the couch and I'm over here.
Sure.
So we can find a way to do it. But yeah, online's been a huge focus for us, and we really just wanted to nail that, which is why we put out the technical alpha so early.
Yeah.
To validate the gameplay and to make sure that the online is really on point.
So it's just PC. You've put all this work into making it work for a keyboard.
Yes.
Could it work on console? Are you interested in?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a lot of great interest, just even here at PAX and in advance with. I worked at PlayStation for a few years. I have a lot of great friends there. Microsoft has been very welcoming as well. So they're talking about it. But right now we're focusing on PC because we knew that the online was super delicate and really important to us.
Yeah.
And also we knew we wanted to do a lot of gameplay updates like bang, bang, bang. So we've been, the technical alpha has been available at risingthunder.com for about a little less than 4 weeks now.
Okay.
And we knew we wanted to do updates a lot. So we've actually had a content update every single week since we launched, adding new variant moves to the characters. We're working on, of course, additional characters, getting a little snazzier background and things like that. So we're adding a lot to the game. But by going on PC, we sort of were able to control every aspect of the experience right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And once we feel like we've nailed that, we've considered, looking at a console, finding a partner there, and bringing it there, because we definitely have a lot of requests from the fans for that.
What about, even if you build your own, could you do an arcade cabinet?
Absolutely, yeah. And we could have it networked around, yeah. So arcade is something we like in the office. We're thinking about installing a Rising Thunder arcade cabinet just in the office so we can play people from the internet, sort of doing our own streams. But yeah, right now we've just been having a lot of fun with it, and the reaction has been super amazing. We wanted to build a fighting game that you could get into without just practicing for 3-6 months just to be able to do the kind of basic moves.
Yeah.
And let people get into sort of the more interesting strategic side of it right away. And we've been just amazed to see players who didn't know anything about fighting games or have played fighting games but felt like they never knew what they were doing and sort of hopeless because...
That's kind of me.
Okay, there you go. But I mean, you understand like basic strategy of like, okay, I want to throw fireballs, and when he jumps, I'm going to do the uppercut.
Yeah.
Stuff like that makes sense to everybody. But the problem is for a lot of people, like when you start to play, you threw the fireball, okay, now he jumped, I know I should uppercut. Wait, what was the motion for uppercut?
Yeah,
I screwed it up, and then you get hammered. And that's sort of a really frustrating experience. That's not a thing you have to worry about with Rising Thunder. What you have to worry about is the strategy. It's the matchup knowledge. It's making the right decisions. And that's what's been so cool about watching new players pick up this game is even when they lose, they understand why they lost.
Yeah.
They can look at it and be like, oh yeah, I did an uppercut at the wrong time, or I made a dumb decision to try and do the super in this position. And after they make that kind of understanding, they go back and improve. So you watch people improve really rapidly. Whereas I've been teaching people about fighting games for a lot of years, and most of them take a very long time to improve or just give up before they ever get to the fun part of fighting games. So I felt like it was kind of my duty to try and do my best to correct that, and Rising Thunder is our shot at it right now.
Well, it looks very cool. We are out of time, but before we go, since you're such a big fighting game guy, I have to ask you, Rival Schools?
Please.
Did you like Rival Schools back in the day?
Rival Schools was a beautiful
Oh my gosh, I'm so sad we don't get to keep playing, getting new Rival Schools.
Well, keep hope alive.
I know. One of these days. That's my dream. Seth, thank you so much for coming by the show.
My pleasure.
Rising Thunder, you can play now at risingthunder.com. Is that right?
Free.
Cool. Free to play. Stay tuned. More to come from PAX here at IGN on the YouTube gaming stage.